people. Let's see if this gonna work for me today. Um, it's just weird. Oop, wrong thing, y'all. It's just weird, man, how I can't see my broadcast live, but I see that I am live. So let me see how do you how can you share your broadcast? It's starting to upset me a little bit because it'll be great to be able to share your broadcast on Twitter. Maybe I need to stop calling it Twitter. Maybe I need to call it X. But whatever. So look, y'all, I got a few things to talk about. Um, Crazy that you gotta go through these extra steps, but let let's get to it. Great, great weekend for me. We had our indoor state championship this weekend. Um, our boys and in the way I don't want to go through it, but we are a smaller school and they just have two divisions. And our boys finished second, our girls finished third. That is good for us. Um, when we go outdoor, we will run with just the people in our class, what makes it, I guess, on equal footing because if you go through classes, we are two-way. We ran against 3A people, and we tied for second. Um, and the boys, girls finished third. The great thing about finishing second, man, look, it's crazy when you get up to a certain age how little things um little things touches you a little more. So the boys finished second, but we tied with a team, and the team that we tied in, one of the coaches coached me when I was young, and it's the dad of um one of my boys who I played football with since I was 9 probably. We went to high school together. He was the best running back in the city, one of the best running backs in the city. I won't say the best, one of the best running backs in the city. And so he's on that coaching staff. And Johnny, I ran track with, summer track. It's kind of cool sharing that moment with those two individuals. Um, and my daughter reached the podium for the first time. Sophomore reached the podium in the high jump. That was fun. But overall, great weekend. Great weekend. Um, Man, it is something watching young kids compete. It's the older you get, the more you cherish those moments, man. It was like I said, it was another good weekend. Now my favorite time of the year, outdoor track is starting next week. So um that's what I enjoy. But speaking of that, it it brings me to something, man. As y'all know, I scroll up and down. I'm a Twitter scroller, and there is something, man, that is special about good coaches that isn't talked about enough. And Ryan Clark has said it in the past. He got into it with Nick Saban when he was at LSU. I had to experience it a little bit, and as a coach, now you understand. As I am a coach now I understand. And here's the thing: is as a player, it's hard to understand because you feel like it's not fair. But here's the thing I'm getting at is there are certain players a coach can yell at, you can, I don't want to say demean, let's just say yell. You can yell at certain players, right? Certain players are able to accept, or I'll say this, are able to hear you through your aggressiveness in talk. And some players can't. Some players wither when they have someone yell at them or bark at them. Here's the crazy thing about it is sometimes you as a coach, you yell at one player to get the attention of the others. It's a crazy. It's not fair to the player that you yelling at because usually the player that you're yelling at usually does the right thing. But you have to use him to get your point across to your other players. And I didn't grasp that because there's also some things like if coach yell at the best player, oh shit, I better get my shit together because I know I'm not the best player. If he's yelling at him, oh, I better get on my P's and Q's because I don't need him yelling at me because if he yell at me, I'm going to feel bad. So sometimes, I know there's young players who sometimes watch this. Sometimes you got to have that conversation with your coach. And the good ones will explain to you why they're yelling at you when you probably didn't really do anything wrong. Because you are some of the players, the freshman players, or whatever, your peers set you up on a pedestal because your accolades, because your performance, etc. And the coaches uses that as a way to have the other players march to the requirements that he would like to see, the culture that he would like to see, the accountability that he would like to see from all his players. Because if you were the one getting yelled at about walking through a drill, walking from one station to the next station, not having your chin strap buckle. I'm just throwing out stuff. If you're on defense, not chasing, not taking a good pursuit angle, whatever it is, you are the benchmark that all those players are probably trying to aspire to. So therefore, I as a coach is going to use that to my advantage because I know that you can handle my getting on you for doing something minute. In your head, you're like, dude, I just have coach, it's just my shoe not being tied. It just can't. It's little to you, but it's big to us because it sets a tone for all those guys behind you, especially the freshmen who just coming on board and don't understand how we like to practice, the tempo we want to practice at, et cetera, et cetera. You are used as an example. Because I think the tweet was like, why is coach yelling at me so much? Because sometimes, understand, sometimes you might be the only one that we can yell at. So sometimes we also take it out on you a little bit. But sometimes, I'm just throwing that because I'm not a big yeller. So, but sometimes it is used for a greater good. And It's just the name of the game. And just understand is if most coaches, if it's done to you, it's done with love, and you can have that conversation with them or her. If you're a girl with female coach or whatever, sit down, have a conversation with them away from the practice field, and I think they will tell you kind of the same thing if you're in that situation. Now, the other thing that um I saw, and it really got me, y'all. This really got me because I am a firm believer in kids playing multiple sports. I go to a school with there's 300 some people in the entire high school, so there's rarely one sport people. So you have to play multiple sports. But then it got me thinking. Honestly, I think football is really the only, if you want to play next level sport, I think football players are the only ones that have to play multiple sports. I think football players are the only one where multiple sports actually helps you in recruiting. I'm thinking about it. Here's the reason why. And I'm all about kids playing as many sports you can in high school. Play football, basketball, baseball, track, whatever you want to play. But if you're playing multiple sports to elevate you to the next level, I really think football is the only sport. Football coaches are the only ones that will go to a track meet, they'll go to a basketball game, or go to a baseball game. Football coaches are the only one that really cares about your 40 time, your 100 time. Football coaches are the only one that really care about, oh, how explosive is he in another sport? How is his lateral quickness? How is his foot speed? How is it in basketball? It's toughness. The intangibles that you learn by maybe you're a point guard and the leader of the basketball team, like those things truly only matter in football. Point. How many basketball coaches are going to a football game and saying, oh, now that helps me recruit in basketball? I know Tom Izzo does it. There's some other coaches that might do it, but on the grand scheme of things, how many basketball coaches truly care that you play football and truly recruit you based off of how well you play football or how well you ran track after you finished playing basketball, how well you play baseball after you finish playing basketball? How many track coaches look at your football film? I know coaches online that say, I'm a track coach, not a football coach. Don't come to me trying to get a football scholarship. I've seen that a lot because I follow a lot of track coaches. So track coaches don't give a damn if you play basketball or play football either. It's not to say that those sports don't help you in track, but it's not going to elevate you. It's not going to elevate your resume, your status as a recruit, because you are a high jumper that play basketball. No one gives a damn. Can you high jump? Same with basketball. No one gives a damn if you can high jump. Can you rebound? Can you box out? It's just something that hit me because there's football coaches talking about they're not football. There's coaches in general talking about multiple sports and kids playing multiple sports and not specializing in sports. I totally agree with that. But then I thought about it. I'm like, is that only because I played football? Or is that truly the case? And I'm not sure that's truly the case. I don't think there are volleyball players that are getting recruited because they play basketball or ran track. Now, what happens is, honestly, the club level sports are starting to ruin the school sports. And I don't like that. Kids are not committing to their school sport because they have to play a club sport. They feel like they have to play a club sport to be identified as a potential prospect for the next level. That's something I don't like. Let these kids enjoy their time with their peers and in situations that are, I don't know, man. Because I don't want to say less stressful. I want to say not looking ahead to the next level. Let these kids have fun playing with their peers. If your kid truly can't get to the next level because a coach don't see you play club sport, maybe that ain't for you. And I'm not a volleyball coach, and I'm not a. Because basketball to me doesn't matter. They see you in your school basketball, should be able to see. Track, it doesn't matter. They see you in school track. But like that basketball and that volleyball and that soccer, having club sports during the school year, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I don't get why they allow it to happen. Teams coaches are selfish to their team and don't want you getting injured in another sport. See, Steven, that could be true. It's tough, man. It's tough. Because here's my thing. If a kid gets hurt, truly playing another sport, that's no one's fault. You can't stifle a kid's joy of playing multiple sports because you scared that he's gonna get hurt and hurt your championship aspirations. I'm gonna say this, and I believe this too, is that if I'm trying to high school sports, truly, high school sports truly should be about development. It should truly be about having fun in the sport that you enjoy playing. Because as we know, most kids are not going to be fortunate enough to play on the next level. We know that. It's 10% or less in the majority of sports. Sometimes, not sometimes, the majority of times, we worry too much about wins and losses and not truly about the individual that this is going to be their only chance and last chance of participating in a sport. There are some kids who are only good enough to be a bench player in high school. You know what? Their enjoyment and excitement for that sport should not be reduced because of their talent level. I've been coaching for what, 5 years, I guess, and the most excited I've been is for a kid who has no chance to participate in college, has no chance to win a state title. But to see the progress and see him get better every year and get confident every year beats anything else that any other kid that might be running track in college. Because the person who's running track in college, everyone knew they was going to probably run track in college. But this individual I coached, everybody knew he wasn't going to run track in college, but he developed and got third place in indoor state. Nothing better than that. We worry too much about wins and losses on a high school level. We truly do. And you play the sport to win the game. But at the end of the day, though, high school sports is more than just wins and losses. It truly is. And I don't know, I got on this when I talk about multi sports. So I don't know where I was wrapping that up. But still, at the end of the day, sports should be about developing, becoming a better person, going through some adversity, fighting through that adversity and become a better citizen, because all these kids are going to be adults, and going through adversity helps you in adulthood. Which see, now we're going to talk about, which sticky subject, but which leads to this. It's we just had Rondell Moore just passed away, and it's it's a thing, y'all. I don't know the situation, so I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about situations that can lead to this. As I was saying that, which I guess triggered it, as kids should be enjoying sports in high school. Honestly, we should enjoy sports in college. The only time things should change is when it's your job after college as a professional athlete. The thing, though, that is happening with kids who are not playing multiple sports, in my opinion, is sometimes your identity, because you're so good, is wrapped up in that sport. We got to get situations, and I'm just be honest with you. I saw it when I was a kid. I see it even more now. Is too much praise and too much projection on young kids that, oh, you're gonna be a certain such a thing when you get to be such and such age. You're gonna be a professional. You're gonna make all this money. All this stuff leads to kids' whole identity being a sport or being their talent level. Because what happens, man, is when it's taken away from you for whatever reason, taken away from you because of injury, taken away from you because no one thinks you're good enough to play, taken away from you because of age, taken away from you because it's just that time. You have ran out of the course of that sport. The crazy thing about it is whenever you leave that sport, you still have decades of life to live. And if your identity is solely created by that sport, what are you going to do when it's taken away from you? And we put too much pressure on kids now. Too much pressure on kids now to perform at any sport, whatever it is, team sport, individual sport. The crazy part about it is we can see the Venus and Serena and that's the first people that come to mind, and the whatever sport, like there's a 800-meter runner, high schooler that is elite. Like we can see that. But how about all the other people who get thrust into that situation and don't come out the other end? It's more of those than the ones who become the superstar. There are not LeBron, Kobe, KG, etc., who came out of high school and played. Them are a dime a dozen. Look at the amount of guys who were one and done in basketball and flamed out. when we put too much of your self-worth, your identity into a sport, it leads to bad things happening in the future. Period. I'm telling you, man, I had a espresso length of time in the league. And I'll never forget when I was cut. I was cut on the last cut. So let's say it was August. A month later, I had a job. Because that wasn't I didn't have to sulk and all that. Then when I went to camp with the Rams and got cut at the last cut, I think I wasn't even, I think I got a job the next week. Because I prepared myself for it because that was not my identity. I love football. But it wasn't going to, there ain't nothing worse. I'm just, y'all, there ain't nothing worse than getting cut. They call your ass like 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Tell you to bring your playbook before all the other players get in. When someone calls you at 5 o'clock, you hit her. You're like, I'm sure now you can see the call ID. Wake up the phone and it's the GM or the assistant, whomever, the player, whatever. Man, come on in. That's all I have to do because you know what it is. There ain't no worse feeling. To go through that multiple times, I know there's guys who've been through it way more than me. It is a demoralizing event in your life. And I remember both of them. Like, it just flashed in front of my face right now just talking about it. But when you have prepared yourself for those events to happen, it's not detrimental. It's just there's another adversity that you just have to overcome. But if that's your identity, I can see that being way worse than if it wasn't. So we as parents have to do a better job of removing those things from our kids' lives as far as that's your only way. Everybody praising you for it's more than that. I want people to understand that if you go that route, it can be detrimental for your kid. Spring practice question. Steven, how does a future first round pick approach spring versus others on the team? Steven, I think that's on the coach. I don't think as a player you can approach it any differently. That's as a coach. What are you going to allow to happen? I'm going to say this, in my opinion, and it's different now because of the portal. Bowl games and spring practice to me were for the guys who didn't get as many reps during the season. This is their chance to shine, in my opinion. If I had a starter that played, so there's 12 games, let's say you play 60 plus snaps a game, so that's 700. If you play over 500 snaps in a season, this offseason is a time for you to heal up and recover and get stronger in the weight room in preparation for next year. If you are a starter from the previous season and you're a locked in starter, like you're not one of those guys who became a starter because there's no one else good in your group or something. If you are a true starter and the coaches trust you, I think spring football should be light for you anyway. You get reps, but all that banging, tackling, all that stuff, if you went through a grueling season, like you went through one of these playoff teams that played 13, 14, 15 games, I'm giving my starters a break. So Steven, ask your question. Spring to me is more for the backups and the role players. Now you have to keep your starters quote unquote sharp, but you know what's worse thing to do is to have one of your starters get hurt in spring football. That's not good. I wrote something down. What did I write down? Okay. This will be my last thing to talk about. Where are we at? We're at 30 minutes. So we're on the same page, Steven. Yep. As a guy who didn't like this event in the first place for a bunch of reasons, but I'm gonna say this. I truly believe I am a firm believer, y'all, and things happen for a reason. Firm believer. And things happen for a reason. I'm a firm believer in if it's not for you, it's not for you. And I believe that professional football, playing for a long time, wasn't for me. And here's the reason why. In 1996, after football season, I was rated as top 5 corner in the draft. Went to the combine, wasn't supposed to run, had a torn labrum. I was rehabbing that. Didn't get a chance to really hit developing whatever combine drills because I try and get this damn shoulder right. So I ran the combine, which I wasn't supposed to. My agent told me don't run, but I got peer pressure and I ran. And I ran a slow time. And because of that, they said he can play safety because I was a good tackler. So we come back after the combine. I focused on the run and I ran a 4.48 and then a 4.5.21 or something at Kentucky. But no one came because they pictured me as a safety. So I'm saying that because I think the combine has ran its course. I really do. I don't think the combine should even be a thing anymore. All these teams have pro junior day or whatever. They have days where the pro scouts come anyway. Every game you can find online. You can interview people via Zoom. If you really like somebody, you bring them in. Like the technology and information that's readily available at your fingertips, meeting in fucking Indianapolis is a waste of fucking time. Running there is a waste of time when everybody comes to somebody's pro day. So having these guys go there in surroundings that's unfamiliar, going there, throwing the ball to receivers you have never met, all that stuff, just so all the whole NFL can meet in one spot and look at you and say, "Ha!" Those days are not needed anymore because of the advancement of technology. Take your ass to the pro days of all these schools, watch the fucking film, and make your decisions that way. Pro day in Indianapolis is a colossal, a humongous waste of time. You just don't need it anymore. You just don't. You can You can get kids 40 times. They have the catapults. You can see what speed he runs on game day. The information, there's so much information you can get from the colleges or on your own. There's film that you can break down and see how fast. Like, it's a waste of time. On top of that, to have these kids travel during school, which I know some of these kids are not even in school anymore, but whatever. It's a waste of time. And more important, it's a waste of money. I can't imagine how much money the NFL is paying to have all these players fly in, put in a hotel for 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is their total. That money could be used for something else. It's obsolete, yo. It's tremendously obsolete. It's archaic. It doesn't need to be done anymore. We should do away with the combine. I don't see what you get from it. Now, if the NFL wants to still have it and have guys interview, talk to the media at one central location, that's fine. Because only a certain few, not everybody's getting interviewed. If you want to do that, that's fine. If you want to bring all the players to get interviewed, that's fine. You want to get all the players to interview and get height and weight, that to me still is not, it's archaic. Having these kids come to Indianapolis, man, makes no sense to me anymore. I think it made sense back when I played. Shit, that was almost 30 years ago now. It does make sense back then. I get it. To a point. I, as a GM, scout, I can pull up any fucking film now and have it at my disposal right now. Why do you have to bring those kids in? It's a cattle show. JD, what's going on? It's a cattle show. It's no need. The combine is, my estimation, stupid. Now it is. And like I said, I think that money could be used in other ways. Shit, how much money that is? Can you give back to the ooh, that just hit me. That just hit me. I got something else to talk about. You can give that to the OGs that didn't make as much money in the 70s and the 80s, that are paying all that money for flights, hotels, etc., for all the damn coaches and all stuff to rent out the stadium. Maybe put that in those OGs retirement fund. You get 10 years of that. How much money would that be? Man, the OG thing just hit me. So, say it again. Then I'm going to go to the OG thing because, man, the combine is obsolete now. Period. Cut it out. Eliminate it. Everybody's going to these. If you got a quarterback in your school, they got to throw anyway. And all the fucking scouts are coming. So get away with it. If you really want to see a kid, you go to their pro day. Period. Simple as that. If he's up on your board, then the head coach and the GM and the president goes to. If he's one of your third, fourth day, not his first one. Your third day guy, then you bring in his position player and a scout. Stop doing it. I'm just stop. OG thing. Man, I'm glad I said that. All right. It was this clip. God, I can't think of the OG. God, he's been on a lot of shows, but I can't think. But it's old. But this thing is, and it's interesting how people they ride on on sides of this. It's this thing where this older gentleman, they were talking about, I think they were oh, jeez, what exactly were they talking about? Let's see if I can remember it. Basically, they were talking about something where the older you get, you learn more, and things you've done in the past, I think you might not have. Nope, I'm gonna let it go because that wasn't it. But here's the thing, y'all, about OGs, or older gentlemen. Just because you are older doesn't mean you know shit through your experience. I know some old people older gentlemen, whom I wouldn't trust with any information because they haven't learned shit. Just because you are older doesn't make you wise. Doesn't make you smarter than a younger kid. I'm gonna say this, doesn't actually make you more experienced than a younger kid. That's just not automatic. It's not. And what happened is some people in this situation were saying, well, you should respect the OG. I can respect you, but I don't have to cater to you. Just because you live longer doesn't mean, first of all, just because you live longer doesn't mean you've been through the things that I've been through. Have encountered the adversity that I've encountered. You could have encountered adversity, but it's not the same as mine. So how could you give me advice on something that you have never encountered? On top of that, for me, maybe I don't have to encounter anything, but my analytical thought process gives me a clear view or clear perspective on giving somebody else advice on something. Just because you are fucking older doesn't mean what you say or what your perspective is right. Period. It doesn't. There are some, look, my dad is he is on a pedestal. But there are some things that he can't, his perspective isn't what my perspective is. For someone who might have been through it. That doesn't make him wrong, but he hasn't been through it. Now, I would say that my dad gives pretty damn good advice. So that was hard for me to put him in this situation. Because I shouldn't have but I know there are some other people that I would damn sure not ask. No. I'll ask somebody my age before I ask some of the people who I know who's older than me. For damn sure. But for some people to get on, it was a round table. This younger guy, for I'm gonna just say lack of a better, for attacking, but actually offering perspective. Just because you're older don't mean you know. And that's the truth. Just because you're older doesn't mean you know. It doesn't. I don't care what you've been through. That doesn't mean you know. I will say this to end. We might, nope, not might. The inability for a lot of people to hear other perspective and give them their just time to try to explain their perspective, and for you to listen without thinking of your rebuttal while they're talking needs to be done more. As a young black man, raised in the South, raised in Louisiana, who had great uncles who were head of NAACP in Woodville, Mississippi, having to leave the NAACP meeting with guns drawn because people were shooting in their direction at their meeting center. For my great uncles to have the perspective of listening to everyone after encountering that gave me all the, you listen, you listen, you listen. That don't mean you have to take it, but you could always find something out of everything someone says. And it doesn't have to be positive. We don't listen intently enough. And that art is lost and it's hurting us as people. Period. And it doesn't mean I have to agree with you. Please, I know. Y'all, I think I said this on, and I did it again today. Y'all, I went on Facebook. I think I said this, and former teammates and former people who were associated with the football program are going at each other. And it's crazy. And it's all political. My perspective is this on that. When I got to Kentucky, coming from Louisiana, been what? One of, I'm going to just guess a number. I think it was less than this. 20 black kids in a 300 student body size high school. Had to go through some things. Had to understand different perspectives. At the end of the day, though, when I got to Kentucky and played football, I understood that there would be different everything. You can name it: ethnicity, socioeconomic, cultural, political, everything. At the end of the day, we fought for a common goal, and we went through the to try and reach that common goal with all the practices and all the meetings and all the other stuff. I will always respect my former teammates. Always. Because I understood what we all went through. Because we all had to go through it. This social media part of it, when we had a common goal, now we're fighting over ideologies. We're fighting over things that shouldn't be pulling that part of us apart. It's sad to see it happen. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to say me, because I'm not going to say. At the end of the day, I knew that certain parts of the team believed a certain way. That would be different than me. But at the end of the day, that was their business. They do what they want to do in the confines of their dorm in their home. But when we got to the Nutter facility, we all won. And now, unfortunately, we are able to get the inside look of what you thought in your dorm and what you thought in your home. And that's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate, man. It's real. That's one of the reasons why I got off of Facebook, because of that. That's one of the reasons. Because sometimes we need to put our fucking fingers down and our regurgitating of propaganda and posting it where the world can see, including your teammates who had mad respect for you. But now that respect is just waning. And it's truly unfortunate because as a guy who, let me count, as a guy who won 15 games in 4 years, lost 12 games in a row, for us to fight as a collective and keep battling after going 1-10 and losing the next two, to go through that and to battle to have, I don't want to talk about those next year because that next year was probably should have been a better year. But whatever happened, right? We battle as young men to stay in the fight. And now that we're 50 years old and above, we letting some BS come in between us. It's sad, man. It's sad. It's a sad day. So, how can I end on a more positive note? So that's that's not good. I'm gonna say this. I watched the women's game against Vanderbilt. I want people to understand this. I don't want to talk about the men's because that's been banter enough. No one's talking about the women. I want y'all to understand. This team is 500 in the SEC and is still ranked in the top 20. That tells you a lot about the teams that they lost to. Especially when they had one of their better players hurt for 3 games. This team is going to be a problem. They are going to be ranked like, what was that? I can't remember the year. The year that with can't think of his name. That year that we were ranked 8 and we beat was it Wichita State? Who did we beat? That was ranked 1. That that's what this women team is going to do. They are that good. And that Vandy game was bullshit. And I love Michaela Blakes. That girl can play. They gave her some damn ticky-tack fouls and a whole whatever. This team, I'm going to say this. Going to the SEC tournament, getting a double bye is all good. I don't think it's the best thing sometimes. I said this on the Alan Cutler show before the season started. I still believe that this team is going to make it to at least the semifinals. I think they can make it to the finals. Because we got all the pieces. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think South Carolina would be this good after losing Chloe preseason. Yet, Dawn Staley is putting it. It's damn. I thought this last game of the season could be ours. I don't know anymore. Them girls are balling. But I feel extremely good about the women's chances, not only SEC tournament, but in the NCAA tournament. I think these girls can make it to the Elite 8, Final Four for sure. They got elite point guard. They got an elite center. They got a good 4. They got 6-footers all over the court except the 2 guards. This team has the ability to make an Elite 8 run. And it wouldn't be a shocker. I know they lost. In these 2 games they lost to Vandy were crazy. But this last one, shit, Obi missed a wide open layup after steal. That's 2 points we should. Like, it's just some crazy stuff that happened in that game. And here's the thing. I think I'm gonna get off. There are not many teams in our conference that had to deal with losing one of their best players. South Carolina lost Chloe before the season. No one had to deal with this level of production being lost in the middle of the season. This team is going to be a problem. All right, y'all. I'm out. I'm not an hour, pretty close to an hour. Hey, VStyle17 on X, on Twitch, and on TikTok. VStyle17, VSTYLES, number 17. See that guy? I'm on this side. See him right there? That's me. See the 17? That's me. So that's why 17. Go follow your boy. Like, comment, share. What is it? Like, comment, share, subscribe. Driving with Styles on YouTube. Go follow your boy. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Get them numbers up. Get them numbers up high. I appreciate all of y'all. I don't know how X works with the live thing. I had to share it. I had to copy from somewhere else. I shared it. Hopefully y'all enjoy the content. Hopefully I'll be coming at you guys another time this week. If so, I'll see you then. Y'all have a good rest of your night. Some of y'all 11 o'clock on the East Coast, 8 o'clock on the West. I appreciate y'all, and I am officially out of here. Y'all have a good one.